So I don't have to stop eating bread? And I can continue eating pasta? These are the common questions I get from my clients. Hi, I'm Dr. Ina, Digestive Reset, and I'm here weekly to answer your questions and give you my tips for digestive and hormone health so your immune system gets in great shape. And at the end of this video, I will share my tips for gluten-free kitchen. How do I switch from gluten to gluten-free smoothly? People do not always show the symptoms of gluten sensitivity until they get really, really sick. People with long-standing unaddressed gluten sensitivity can end up with leaky gut or intestinal permeability, which is the official term in medicine, or with terrible intestinal disorders like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, Celiac disease, IBS. Too many times we do not realize that gluten sensitivity is an issue, and it's one of the most underdiagnosed health conditions today. There are different possible reactions that people experience when they stop gluten. Some people feel better or much better right away. Some feel withdrawal symptoms for a few weeks and then they feel better. But there are others. Some do not feel better at all, even after a couple of months. If you find yourself that person, listen up. These clients would come back and they would tell me, the gluten-free diet doesn't work. And I say, not so fast, please. There are many things to consider here. 1, how long did you stay 100% gluten-free? If we really suspect gluten sensitivity and your answer is less than 6 months of 100% gluten-free, go back to step 1. Number 2, rule out any hidden glutens in your foods. Please watch my video about hidden gluten that's coming up. And number 3, test, and retest. And not just for gluten sensitivity. Please also test for leaky gut presence to address the problem from both ends. So let's talk about gluten swapping. Gluten-free means avoiding all foods that include gluten like wheat, rye, barley, spelt, kamut, bulgur, couscous, semolina, and durum flour. Oats are most likely not okay. What grains are okay? Buckwheat, quinoa, technically a veggie or a seed, amaranth, millet, corn. Again, careful with corn, a lot of it is GMO, so we want to be very careful there. Brown rice, wild rice, arrowroot, tapioca, and bean flours. It's truly easier today to eat gluten-free. Many products are labeled gluten-free, but with all these conveniences of gluten-free labeling, we get the marketing lure that comes with it. I always teach my clients that the healthiest options are whole foods. So if you take gluten-free whole grain, like brown rice or millet, for example, and make a porridge out of it, it remains whole food. The moment you make a flour out of that grain, the less nutritious and less helpful this product becomes. So if you're swapping for gluten-free grains, your best idea is to cook it into a porridge rather than mill it and use it to be prepared like a flour for cooking. My best tip for cooking quinoa, for example, is to use a 15-minute rule. Once it boils, cook 5 minutes on high, 5 on medium, and 5 on low, like simmer. Right before you finish cooking, add some herb amare, garlic spice, tiny bit of black pepper, add some MCT oil, mix it and turn off the stove. It will end up tender. Added up MCT oil will be easy to absorb, especially helpful for those with digestive problems. And it's also comforting, warm meal full of protein and fiber. Of course, you could do your own tweaking, adding more protein, greens, or oil according to your nutritional needs. Hopefully you know what that means, or working with functional medicine practitioner like myself that can help you figure that out. Here are my tips for gluten-free kitchen. Number one, when trying to avoid gluten, it is better to cook at home, or at least in the beginning. Number two, try to plan and cook for 2 or 3 days at a time. For example, cook your own soups and stews in large quantities. Then package that food into small, non-plastic containers, like the silicone ones, for example, and freeze it for up to a month. You'll have ready to go for meals at any point. The reason I don't recommend plastic is because of the environment and your health. When you heat up or cool off the foods inside the container, that's plastic, and temperature changes, plastic particles like BPA, that's sometimes we get BPA free, still certain plastic particles can seep into your food. Number three, always keep raw nut butters and nut flours for quick meals. Great choice would be to use raw almond butter with apple butter on a toasted slice of a whole grain gluten-free bread for a snack. And nut flours make a great grain-free muffins for breakfast. I wish you great health. I would love some feedback. Please follow the page, subscribe, and comment under my videos. I know many have questions. I get them sometimes into my inbox. It would be helpful to get them right under the video. Again, this was Dr. Ina with you at Digestive Reset, and until the next time.